know something about it. And I won't answer now. Who, what, where, why. See,
Okay, guys, HJCAC preview tonight. Maricopa Mustangs, Gila River Hawks. Gonna kind of jump right into this thing. Gonna kick it off first with Ryan Felker, the head coach of the Gila River Hawks. Then we're going to interview Doug Madosky from the Maricopa Mustangs. And then I've got a player from each team coming on. Look, the reality of this thing is it is a big stage. Even though the HJCAC is fairly new, you're going to see a good turnout for this one. You've got coaches that are flying into town just to see this game. I've got coaches that were in town that changed their flights so they could stay for this game. 2-0 Maricopa Mustangs, 2-0 Gila River Hawks. It all starts and stops here. This battle goes back to the days of Scottsdale versus Mesa. The two coaches know each other better than anybody. So I want to kind of jump right into things and talk about just the magnitude of this game. Joining us on the line right now, Ryan Felker, head coach, Gila River Hawks. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Lou.
So, I mean, obviously, you know, you're going to be well prepared for this one. You're coming off of an impressive win against Papago. What are you expecting different against this Mustangs team that you haven't seen so far this year?
You know, every week it's something different, but you know that they're going to be, they're going to come out with their hair on fire. I already know that. You know, I know Coach Madosky is a great motivator, so he'll get them all riled up. You know, so it's gonna pop off early. I think the tone, you know, on both sides of it, and you know, this is the kind of games that you know you coach for and the kids play for. So you know, on both sides of the ball, you're gonna have, you know, I think guys that are gonna bring their best. I mean, it's how it always works, especially between us.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, last season, you know, 1 point game, coming down to the last minute of the game every time. Do you see this being a defensive game? Both teams have been able to put up an excessive amount of points this year, but I mean, historically, this is a defensive battle between you two. Do you see it playing that role, or do you see it maybe some fireworks going off?
Well, you always hope for some fireworks, you know, but you know, in the past, it's always been a slugfest for 4 quarters, and you know, usually comes down to who made the biggest mistake, you know, and you know, that's typical, whether we were at Mesa and Scottsdale or even, you know, last year, both games were 2-point games. And, you know, it literally came down to a safety on one game, you know, and came down to the last drive on the next. So it just, it's something that, you know, I think they put, you know, you ask your team to play their tails off for 4 quarters and hope to have a chance to win it at the end.
Talking about recruiting and the level of the quality, the caliber of athlete that we're starting to get here, not only at the Gila River Hawks, but now it's starting to spread. The Mustangs are getting 4-star players. The Pumas are getting 3-star, 4-star players. You have been a guy, you know, I mean, you're notorious for getting your guys out, getting them placed, as is Coach Madosky.
Yes.
The track record between you two is unbelievable. You know, and as a recruiting entity and myself, having the chance to work with you guys has been amazing. You know, I'm one of those guys who I like to learn. I never stop learning. The minute you stop learning, you're not doing your job right. So with the level of the turnover of the way you get guys out, I know just recently your superstar tight end is just is a D1 guy. You've got a offensive tackle in Jasper that's a D1 guy. I had a chance to talk with your running back, Michael Jamerson, who's got 10 or 12 Division I schools interested in him.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it the level of respect amongst the Division I coaches that you've built where they just trust in the players you're sending them over the years? Would you attribute it to that, or would you attribute it to a combination of just that and having talented athletes?
Well, it's a little bit of everything, and I think most of it's just relationships. You get talented athletes because you've done what you've done, and they know that coaches trust you. You know, same with Coach Madosky. for years, him and I have sent guys out and they produce, so, people begin to trust you and trust your word. And so when I make that phone call or Coach Medosky makes that phone call, it means something. The phone gets picked up, and when we say a guy's got the grades, he's got the character, he's got the film, then they're definitely going to get put on the board, and that's something that you just build over years and years of doing it the right way. And it's something that going all the way back to when we coached together is I think we've always taken a lot of pride in maintaining those relationships. You can't sell a bad car or people don't come back and buy another one from you. So, Coach Medosky and I have sold good cars over our career. And I think that's a driving force behind what this league is going to, ultimately be successful based upon, and getting kids, high quality athletes, and at the same time, getting them to places where, they've always dreamt of being.
Well, speaking of cars, I can tell you this, Coach. The limousine known as the Gila River Hawks is driving into North Phoenix tonight, and we expect nothing outside of an amazing game versus the Maricopa Mustangs. Best of luck to you, your staff, and your team. We'll see you at 7 p.m. sharp at Ridge Stadium.
All right, Lou, thanks. I appreciate everything you're doing for us too. I mean, we need everybody pitching in on this thing to make it go.
Absolutely. Thank you, and good luck tonight, Coach.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, guys, the preview continues. The Gila River Hawks facing the Maricopa Mustangs today. As I've said before, we just got off an interview with Coach Felker. Now talking to Doug Medosky, the head coach of the Maricopa Mustangs. Coach, highly anticipated game, always a battle, been a battle for years. Scottsdale versus Mesa, Maricopa versus Gila. I mean, what do you expect in this one outside of just an unbelievable hard-nosed battle on both sides of the ball?
I think that's what, quite honestly, I think that's what there is to expect. I mean, there's no secret. I mean, obviously with Coach Felker and myself, we were at Scottsdale and Mesa. I mean, you alluded to it that I mean, for years, it's kind of been the battle between the two of us to see who was going to represent the Maricopa Community College District in the bowl games and, winning the conference championship and doing some of the things that we were able to do. But, last year it came down to the exact same thing. It was us and him. And I mean, he got us by 2, I think, in both games. And, we'd like to find ways to minimize some of those mistakes and capitalize when we have opportunities to capitalize and come away with a win this week.
Coach Felker and I talked briefly about the huge difference between year 1 of the HJCAC and year 2 of the HJCAC, and the amount of talented players that have been attracted to this league. I mean, it's not just local kids anymore. He's got a phenomenal running back out of Flint, Michigan. You have a 4-star defensive tackle out of IMG in Florida. So, I mean, the HJCAC is completely recruiting inbound the entire map of the country, and you're getting premium players. Coach Felker attributes that to the long-standing history of himself, and you on just getting players to where they need to get to at the Division I level. How do you comment on that?
I think at the end of the day, I mean, we always have had out-of-state kids, regardless of whether we're in the HJCRC or not. Getting such a late start last year obviously impacted the ability to bring in some of those guys and having the longevity, I guess, if you want to call it longevity, of one season under your belt. But certainly I think that at the end of the day, nobody plays community college football because they want to go to the community college. They're going to the community college because they want the opportunity to move on to the next level and to get recruited at that 4-year school. And obviously we've done a pretty good job of getting kids moved on. And over the years, I know obviously Coach Felker, myself, I mean, I think we were 98% recruited and 99% in my 13, 14, however many years it was at Scottsdale, of guys that got opportunities to move on to the next level. So I think that, obviously you start to develop a rapport and a relationship with people to help move kids on, and people want to be a part of that. There's a lot of programs out there that talk about what they're going to do for you, but then they don't really take care of things and they don't get it done. A D1 guy places himself in a lot of cases. I mean, obviously you got to surround him with the right kind of guys, but if you really want to play, football at the NC2A level, you need somebody who's going to pound the phone lines for you 24/7 and go to work with you and has a huge connection and a network. And obviously, I think Coach Felker and myself, we've done a pretty good job of developing that. And certainly with my recruits, bringing you on board with the HJCAC, the numbers of scholarships that guys have already been offered at this year. I mean, we've already had more guys offered scholarships this year than we sent out last year. I mean, so
Right.
obviously we expect it to continue to grow.
Talking about the game, getting into the what everybody's waiting for. I mean, I've got college coaches in town that, changed their flights back so they could stay for this one. I got a couple coaches that just landed yesterday, went out to dinner with one last night. So highly anticipated game. I mean, this is the one. I mean, there's no secrets around this. One of these two teams is going to win this conference championship, and you're going to get a good look tonight at how you guys match up. What are you expecting tonight, as far as, do you see a lot of points being put up in this one, or predominantly do you see it playing as a defensive game like it normally does?
I don't know. It's kind of funny. I mean, we've always had prolific offenses for both of our teams, and it seems like we'll go out there and some games you end up playing it to where hardly any points are scored. Other games you end up playing it and you score 60 each side. And I mean, who really knows what to go? I mean, at the end of the day, for us, this isn't the one. This is just the next one. I mean, that's how we approach the game. Obviously, Coach Felker does a good job, and that's a good football team, and he's got some talented guys out there. With that being said, yeah, I mean, we still got to play them, and we got to play them again later on, and we've got to play the Pumas again later on. And I mean, I would say that obviously one of these three teams is going to end up standing there at the end. Certainly, this is an important one. Getting the first one is always better than having to try to play from behind and getting the next time around. But from our standpoint, this is just another one. This is the one because it's the one tonight. But we'll get ready for the next ones as well and try to give those hell as well.
Highly anticipated game, Ridge Stadium, Mountain Ridge High School, 67th Avenue, 7 p.m. tonight. I know there is a bunch of potential inbound 2021 recruits that are very interested to seeing this one. We're excited. The coaches are already calling and making sure that they want to know what time they can get there to see pregame. We'll be out there about 5:45 covering this one. Want to wish you the best of luck. I know you've got to get out to the field and get with your team right now and start some pregame stuff. Doug Madosky, head coach of the Maricopa Mustangs, thanks for joining us, and best of luck tonight.
Thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate you.
Take care.
You do the same.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I am doing an HJCAC spotlight, little bit of pregame. We have a huge game tonight over at Ridge Stadium. Gila River Hawks traveling over to take on the Maricopa Mustangs. I am so thankful to be joined today by the running back of the Gila River Hawks out of Flint, Michigan, Mr. Michael Jamerson. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I am. I'm here.
Hey, thanks for joining us, bud. So you're off to an amazing start. 2 games, one against Arizona Christian, one against the Papago Pumas. In 2 games, you've managed to put together 300 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Tell me what the adjustment's been like stepping on to the reality of it is a big-time junior college program right now with the Hawks and some big-time Division I players, and winning over the starting running backs job with a lot of talent. How has it been so far in the start of the season?
Well, I already knew when I came in, I wasn't gonna be like the only running back. I mean, running backs there's a million, a dozen, anywhere you go. I knew that I had to put in work during the off season. Off season was my biggest season. I know in season was, but off season was my biggest season to show, am I going to be different? Do I want to be average? So I really worked hard, worked with my trainers and stuff, and came into the season. All the hard work paid off. Ended up being able to start Gila River. Defense, since our defense is pretty good, they pretty much they make it easier having people like Solo on defense like that, good defensive players. They make the running backs a lot better. And we came in the first week once we got our pass on, we banging and stuff like that, and that really helped us with kind of that game feeling early in the season.
Absolutely. You know, you're
Yeah.
at you're not a small back. You're 6 foot, 200 pounds. You're a bruiser. You've got breakaway speed. I've spoke to a lot of Division One coaches that say you have another gear. Your running backs coach, Coach Horn, absolutely speaks the world of you. I mean, he talks about you like you are the greatest running back ever, and you are. You are damn good. You are a Division One caliber running back. I know I spoke with Coach Felker and Coach Horn and you, and getting a lot of action, getting a lot of looks from some schools back east, some Mid American schools. I mean, you've got. I know you've been talking to UConn, University of Connecticut, Arkansas Pine Bluff has jumped in the conversation. Appalachian State, Southern Utah, Northern Arizona's got some interest. Southern Connecticut. So you're kind of covering the map, really trying to see what's going to be a good fit. We know it's a really uncertain time right now. Guys are not sure what they have scholarship numbers wise. They're not sure what their rosters are going to look like, but you're definitely at the top of a lot of lists as far as running backs go.
Right.
Another good young running back in this league named Brian Santana Fist. I know you guys just squared off against each other. He had a pretty good game. You had a great game. So the amount of talent that's in the HJCAC is really starting to stand out. Going into this game tonight with the Maricopa Mustangs, there's a bit of a history there between Coach Felker, Coach Madowski. Obviously, it lasts, I'm not sure if you knew, but the last game, the two matchups last year, I think were both 1-point matchups, came down to the last play of the game. So we're expecting a huge game. We've got a bunch of college coaches in town for this game. You feel any extra added pressure in this one, or just business as usual?
Of course, I feel a little bit of pressure, but like I really go into each game just really like not caring like on the outcome. Just you just go into the game mentally tuned in. Like I make sure like I'm already mentally tuned in days before the game is even started. Like going into practice, give it 100% practice, and then when it comes to game time, I'm giving that extra 100, put on 200% in the game, and just not thinking about like what's gonna happen, just playing and letting it flow, like letting it flow through the game. Um, I mean, it's great that we have like college coaches like come into the game and stuff like that, but I really just pay attention to like what's happening right in front of me. So I don't really think about people in the stands or anything like that. It's just more of just play and just play, help the team win, and then it's just like basically like another game as far as I'm concerned. I know there's history between Coach Filk and the Maricopa Mustang or the other coach. Like he's been prepping. We've been prepping this whole season. I mean, we've only had 2 games, and uh, this is a big game for us. Like this is a
Yeah.
big game for everybody. To show their potential, show like their make highlights this game. You know what I'm saying? Playmakers make highlights. So we came to this game. We know they're a good team, but it's a game. You know what I'm saying? You got to get mentally tuned in and just play.
You bring up a good point. I used to have a saying: big time players make big time plays in big time games, and you are a big time player. And we hopefully will get to see you make some big time plays on the field tonight. Gila River Hawks running back Michael Jamerson, thank you for joining us. Best of luck tonight, and we will see you on the field at 7 p.m. sharp.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Hey guys, Coach Perone here. Preview of tonight's big matchup. Gila River Hawks visiting the Maricopa Mustangs continues. Had a great conversation with Gila River Hawks running back Michael Jamerson. I can interview guys all day long, but the reality of it is I want to pick one or two guys here to really just talk about some things. And one guy right now on the Maricopa Mustangs that has made a huge impact, a young man that they did not expect to get, a young man that had some Division I opportunities out of high school. I'm talking about 6'4", 220-pound tight end out of Liberty, Carter Hill. Carter, thank you for joining us here on the pregame. How are you, buddy?
Good, Coach. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
No problem. Hey, bud, you're off to an amazing start.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, you are you pose such matchup problems for every defense. At 6'4", 220, you've got 4.5 speed. You are an an unbelievable blocker. I mean, you truly are, and I'm not embarrassed to say this because I I'm a guy that when he's wrong can admit he's wrong.
Yes, sir.
Had a chance to see you in high school, and I knew you were dominant in high school. But until I really got a chance to see you playing here in the HJCAC, I really had no idea just how dominant of a tight end you really are. In my opinion, I think you are one of the best tight ends in the country at the junior college level right now. And I
Yes,
think
sir.
your future is super bright. I mean, you hear me talking online about, everybody chasing D1, chasing D1. I'll tell you what right now, and I've had this conversation with your head coach, Doug Madosky. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that you are a Division I tight end. No questions. We're not going to debate it. We're not going to talk about it. You are a true Division I tight end. I know got some interest from some certain schools. I know St. Thomas in Minnesota is extremely interested. They were a school that had offered you prior to going to junior college. They haven't come off of you yet.
Yes, sir.
Sacramento State, in the Big Sky is very interested, as is NAU. I know Dixie State is a school that you are very interested in. I know they're very interested in you. We're hoping that that's a matchup that could work. Tell us a little bit about this season and just kind of how you've become a focal point of this Mustangs offense.
Well, as far as the season, I didn't really know what to expect coming in. Obviously, coming from Liberty and having offers, I was kind of just like lost with what to do. So when I picked the JUCO level, I talked to Coach Madosky, and he pretty much explained to me how much of an opportunity it was if I could be a big part of the team. So I came in and started getting people's numbers, like my receiver or my teammate Q, and then Titan, Drew, a bunch of these quarterbacks and receivers, and we just worked our ass off all year, and we continue to work our ass off all year. And we're just looking at the main goal here of if we can make plays every Saturday night and get out of here with a division championship, then that's the main goal.
You're talking about winning a conference championship. I mean, that road is going to go through the defending champs that you're playing tonight in the Gila River Hawks. Obviously, there's a long history there, as we talk about, between Coach Madosky and Coach Felker. Last year, 1-point losses, last play of the game. So this one is really – there's a lot of hype surrounding this. We've got college coaches flying into town just for this matchup tonight. That says a lot. You feel any extra added pressure with it being such a larger stage, or what do you think?
As far as the game, I feel a little bit more pressure as far as it's a bigger game. We know that we've played Papago, we've played ACU, and they obviously weren't to the same talent level as Gila River is. So in that sense, it's a little bit more pressure. But as far as it being a big game, it's just football. We're just going to go out here. Everyone's going to do their job, not try to do anything extra. We're just going to win the game as a team, as opposed to me coming out there saying, oh, I'm going to do this whole thing on my own.
No secret, Coach Felker has made it clear that I know about the tight end, and rest assured he's not going to beat me. So I know you're expecting some real interesting coverages on you today. Anything extra you guys have prepared for this week to try to get you out in the open, or should we just be surprised and see how you factor into the offense?
Well, we've been adding a few plays here and there, but we have playmakers pretty much everywhere around the ball. So if I can't get going, someone else will get going and then open up everything else. So, we're just going to play our game.
Spoken like a true good teammate, a leader on the team, a vocal leader, a lead by example guy. Carter Hill, 6'4", 220-pound tight end for the Maricopa Mustangs in the HJCAC. We're going to see you at 7:00 tonight, Mountain Ridge Stadium versus the Gila River Hawks. Carter, good luck. We can't wait to see you out there.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Can't wait to ball out.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.